Hello and welcome back to the Film Club, the club where we talk about films that we've been recently watching, viewing and enjoying. Let me know what you've been recently watching and enjoying, and if you've seen what I'm about to talk about, let me know in the comments what you thought about it. I wasn't actually aware that The Salt Path was coming out, but I wanted to go to the cinema one evening, and I was looking at what was on, and I saw Gillian Anderson's face pop up, and I thought, what's she in? And then also, when I clicked onto it and saw Jason Isaacs, I love him. I've been watching White Lotus that he's been in recently, and I've always quite liked him as an actor. So when I found out that it was about a couple walking essentially across the coast of Cornwall and Devon and things like that, I was hooked. I was instantly hooked just from that, because I adore walking. I love walking. I've got a YouTube channel dedicated to it, and I was just excited to see what this story told. It looked emotional. It just looked like a nice film with a deep message. It looked like something that was going to make me cry, and so I went to see it. And I was really pleasantly surprised. This film isn't perfect. And it's not as... I think there could have been a couple changes that could have made this film really good. But for the most part, this is a lovely, enjoyable, slow watch. You're not going to go into this film and find out everything about the characters. You're not going to go in and get the entire story. But this is just a snippet into two people's lives who are at such a horrific, terrible place. They've had some news about an illness that Jason Isaacs' character's got, and at the same time, they lose their entire house. And this film doesn't dive into the sort of whys and things like that. Like, it briefly mentions the court case, but it doesn't like dive into it and explain why, which I think some people might have an issue with, because they want to know. They want to know what happened. Why did your house get taken off you and things like that. But for me, I was okay with not knowing, because that's not really what this film was about. So that happens, and then they go, well, let's just go on a walk then. Let's go on a walk and figure things out, and we'll see what happens. And then just over the course of the walk, it's that they go through turmoil and like having no money, and it's a lovely film. Gillian Anderson and Jason, both actors are phenomenal in this. Like, they both add some different sense of struggle, and they've got a really brilliant chemistry between them, where it does feel like this is a couple that have been together for years and have experiences together. I genuinely it was just a nice performance to watch. I think Jason Isaacs' performance of someone who has an illness and going through it and slowly getting better across the walk and things like that, I think that was brilliant. I just the sort of joy that they find in this the almost shitty moments of like the tide coming in and almost washing their tent away and stuff like that. It's moments that could be seen as bad, but they just sort of live and love for it because it's nature. I think this, like, even I love the slowness of this film. Like, I love that you can go and watch a film like Mission Impossible and it be world ending and all like this, and then you can go and watch a film like this that's just about two people walking. And some of the scenery in this film is phenomenal. That's why I love cinema. Like, you can get two completely different emotions and feelings and things, and we need more films like this, in my opinion. We need more slow films that people can just sort of get lost in, and we're all so busy in lives, and the TikTok algorithm and everything's so quick and fast, and explosions even at the cinema with other films. It's so overly CGI and everything's 100 miles a minute, but we need films like this that do just slow us down and make you think and make you connect to not a whole ensemble of cast, but just two people going through something in life. I just loved this film. The cinematography, like I said, some of the scenery that you get, I mean, it's always going to be absolutely stunning because of the location. Cornwall and that whole coast is just absolutely beautiful. One thing I would have loved to see is just maybe a bit more of like a few of the famous landmarks and places that you visit along that coast, because a lot of it just did sort of feel like a bunch of random cliffs. And there are a few places that I would have loved to see them visit and walk past and go through. But that's my kind of only gripe with this film, to be honest, is that they could have shown a few more places, but they might not have had filming permission, or the scheduling might not have worked, so that's probably why they didn't do it. But aside from that, like, it just showed the beauty in Britain, and it's something that a lot of people forget if you're stuck in a city or a bit of a rundown town. Like, you forget that there are places that just look stunning in this country. We live in such a beautiful place, and a lot of people forget that, but this film definitely reminds us of that. It's quite funny because the film ended and I was slightly tearing up after Gillian Anderson was saying about how he was her home, and I don't know why, it made me tear up a little bit because I was just happy for them. The text that comes at the end, like the fact that they've been now walking still for 10 years and they're both still like happy and healthy and living and everything like that. It's a phenomenal story, and I was starting to tear up, and then the film ended, the credits started rolling, and then this old woman 2 seats from me turned to her friend who she was with at the cinema, and she went, well, that was the most boring film I've ever watched. And I thought, love, these types of films are meant to be like catered for your age group. What are you talking about? I loved it and I appreciated it. Why can't you? But no, anyway. So let me know, what did you think of Salt Path if you have seen it, and I will see you next time on The Film Club.